Hi, and welcome to lesson 5 of Master of Manifestation. So, today we're going to talk about attitude and we're going to talk about gratitude and meditation. So, this is going to be specific to the attitude that gives you everything that you want and need, the attitude of the all, if you want to say, as an overall. So, James Allen wrote this really great little book called As a Man Thinketh. And before he wrote the book, he said to his wife, he had an intuition. He needed to go live in the woods. And they packed up all their stuff and they went and lived in the woods. And he wrote As a Man Thinketh. And it's a great book because it's really talking about how everything is mind. And it goes back to what, the Emerald Tablets say is mind is all or all is mind. And he said, man is buffeted by circumstances so long as he believes himself to be the creature of outside conditions. But when he realized that he is a creative power and that he may command the hidden soil and seeds of his being, out of which circumstances grow, he then becomes the rightful master of himself. Okay, so what does that say? Because he wrote it, 100 years ago. So what Alan is stating is that as long as we believe that we are subject to the outside world, to the things that we see, that people are doing it to us, or we can't have that, or they have that, so we can't have that, or this is what's happening. I know it's what's happening. As long as we are subject to the outside world, as long as we continue to look at it and react to it and say, that's what's real, we will feel that we're stuck. And this goes in relationships too. And we're going to get into romantic relationships and why we always remain stuck or outside of them. But we're not going to do it in this podcast. I'm actually going to do a workshop, a live workshop with a couple of other female friends of mine that are masters of manifesting too. And we're going to talk about how we all were able to manifest the partners of our dreams. Okay, so back to James Allen. I got way off track. So, as long as you think that you're subjected to what's happening outside of you, you're going to feel stuck. But when you realize that what we are is the creative power, that the creative power works through us, then we can command the hidden soil and the seeds of our being, the essence of thought, feeling, and action, and you can grow your own circumstances. He's saying the Garden of Eden is within you. Everything is within you, the seeds of thought. What you put into your consciousness and what you believe are going to be the seed and the soil that produce the result. But what you need to remember is you must take action. That's why I talk about breathing, some physical exercise, because that's linked together. You have to breathe to exercise, drinking a lot of water because that cleans out the toxicity, and decluttering. So this is how we begin to master ourselves. This is how we become masters of manifestation, by recognizing over and over again, we are the creators of this. Okay, so how do we do this? And this is what we've been talking about through self-awareness, through contemplation, through meditation, using our breath to calm ourselves, using our breath to actually build the energy within ourselves, which is the fire within. So when you sit down to create, you use your breath and you'll find that you become hot in the certain exercises that we're going to learn in these lessons. And then from this place, and we're paying attention to self because we are the creator. What we're thinking and what we're feeling is going to create it. How we perceive what is happening in the outside world creates more of it. And you can literally decide that you're going to change that. So this is then going to lead you to seed the soil to produce the best results. So you focus with a purpose. That is actually, your focus has to be purposeful. It is an act that is purposeful. And you can sit down and you can meditate with a focused, purposeful intention. And as you breathe, your breath connects your mind, your soul, your spirit, your body. It all becomes one. Okay, so the heart of this discipline in this talk today is going to be threefold. So, number one, you have to know yourself. And this is the work that we're doing in these first lessons. Number two, you have to accept yourself. And that means you have to look at what the outcome is going to be of your learning. And your learning is about self. So the outcome is what? Knowing self. The third thing is you have to become a conscious creator of your life by actually knowing that you are the creator. And I'm sure you've heard this if you listen to podcasts and YouTube and read any Neville Goddard books or anybody who talks about things such as the law of attraction, etc. So the third step is knowing that your creator is actually the most humbling of all, because you'll know that as a creator, you also are of service to other people. When you know that you're the creator, the selfishness doesn't even come into it in a way that has a negative connotation to it. I'm not saying that you cannot be selfish, because there are some things that we must hold back for ourselves that need to be just ours. What I'm saying is that you won't have any idea of selfishness. You will be open enough to give the things that you know. And that's how you begin to also use your creative powers. And then you get more of that. So the ability to know and accept yourself leads to accepting other people, other selves. To become the creator is to become all that there is. So I really want you to think about that. To become the creator is to become all that there is. That's oneness with the creative force. So your perceptions are expressing who you believe you are. They express who you are or who you believe you are, and this is what you can change. You can change what you really want to believe. That's the difference. Am I going to believe what I was told, or am I going to believe from my creative source as the source of the creator? And there's the difference. You don't want one foot in, I'm going to believe what I was told, and I'm going to check this out over here, and my other foot's going to be in, I really want to believe that I'm the creator. It has to be all in. You got to get in. I'm talking about owning your power. And in the previous lessons, we talk about how perception creates reality. So how you perceive things to be on the outside, your ex cheated on you, your ex, is always looking at other women, your spouse does this, your lover does that, you don't have a spouse or a lover, you're single, you want someone, your relationships with your siblings, your parents, and society are like this, and you can't get, and you don't want. And what we want to start talking about is what we want. We want to talk about what we can get. You have to be in gratitude to remember, I have already created and done these things. And that's what this is going to be about. So you know that the law reflects your state of being, your state of mind. And what are those things? The beliefs that you hold on a very deep level. We know that what we experience and what we call circumstances are simply the symbols and effects of our inner states. And that results from our state of being. Do you see how it's a circle? It's all connected. Knowing this, is there going to be anything better than cultivating, generating, broadcasting from a position, from a state of mind, from a state of being, from a feeling of being complete, fulfilled, and blessed? So we want to work on today cultivating, generating, broadcasting from a position of, from a state of mind, from a feeling, from a state of being complete and fulfilled and blessed. Because nothing beats this state. This gives you all that you need. When you get into a state of feeling that, now that's the tricky part. So you're filled to the brim. And so in the story of the wedding of Canaan in the Bible, at the wedding feast, they run out of wine. And Jesus tells the servants to fill the wine carafes to the brim. And the water is transformed into wine. And so think about this metaphorically, in filling yourself with the feeling of being full, with the state of being, with the feeling of being fulfilled, of being blessed. You got to feel blessed. You literally transcend the outer world to match your inner state of being. And that's how it works. You're going to practice this today. So filling yourself with faith, faith will be. To the degree and the intensity that you generate the state, you're going to experience that reality. And so I'm going to do a meditation today with you. It'll be short, but keep this firmly in your mind. And I want you to feel this. It is not thinking or affirming. It is about being. Our thoughts and our feelings work together. They literally are not separate. They appear to be, but they're not. And what we want to do is we obviously want to use our thoughts and our feelings to generate a state of being, but it is from the fire and the passion within you. How badly do you want what you say you want? What will you give up of your old ways of being and your old states to generate fulfillment and feeling blessed? You can't fake this, because when you are in the state of being, you are it. And what does it mean? If you are it, then it means that that is exactly where reality and the energy will meet you. And that's where you have to absolutely hold that. You have to stay filled to the brim. So the more you achieve the desired state of being, so meaning the more you achieve the feeling of it, the filling of it, the feeling blessed with it, the more your reality will expand. And so it's according to the degree of your own intensity of that fulfilled state. And see, this is where I say to you, how badly do you want it? Are you going to be willing to give up the shit that you hold on to? All your ideas about how you weren't loved and how badly you were treated. And yes, those are things that we will work through in these lessons. But are you willing to give up your own negative states, the things that you say to yourself, the things you think about other people? Have you ever looked through the eyes of the other person? Have you ever tried to? Look through the eyes of another person. Sometimes in our relationships, all relationships, it does not have to be romantic. But in romantic relationships, men and women demand their lovers to be certain things. Nobody even cares about the vulnerability and the issues and the things that they went through and experienced as children. And we cover them up. A lot of times we don't say it. We don't talk about it. We pretend we're something else. And so we don't really know a person until we really get to understand, where do you come from? Why do you believe that? And then when we uncover that, we are able to generate and grow, because you can connect new neural networks by throwing out the old. You say, oh, wow, I understand why I think that. I understand why I see that. I'm asking you to give me something that you can't even give yourself. And I'm sitting here and I'm banging on this damn door, and I'm crying on cold cement, and I'm getting nowhere. You have to be willing to give those things up. You have to see differently. You have to stop saying and seeing the old things, which means you got to stay off social media. You have to stop stalking people. You have to stop thinking that they're dating somebody else or they're with somebody. You have to stop all of that. And people will say, well, that's ridiculous. Then you're living in an illusion. We're all living in an illusion. That's what this is. Your perception creates your reality. Think about that. What is reality? Is it what people tell you, or is it what you create? Because where we stand, it's what we create. It's how we see things. So to those who possess, who hold within themselves, to those who have love, those who have faith, those who have trust, those who know and feel wealthy, and those who feel healthy and alive and positive, more will be given. In the Bible, to those who have, more will be given. To those who have faith, more faith is given. To those who are filled with wealth, health, happiness, more will be given. And to those who do not, it will be taken away. Think about that. Generate. That is your job as a human being. You have the energy and the will and the thoughts and the feelings to generate. And the reason I remind you of this is because We get lost sometimes in artificial feeling. We lie to ourselves. For example, I'm perfect. It's my ex that's the problem. It's my so and so. You're the problem. Your ex, your parents, your boss, those things are reflecting back to you. You're the problem. You have to change it. You might have to leave the relationship. You might have to take a break. You might have to quit the job. Sometimes you are, if you're not willing to see it differently, you're just going to repeat it over and over again. But you have to decide what that's going to be. And you have to believe that you can do it. Sometimes it's better to leave a relationship and a job. Sometimes it's better to stay, but only you're going to know by self-reflection. And so some people think, I'm going to fake it till I make it. That's the only way. But that's acting as if, because if you've created the state of being and you learn being, then you know self-honesty. Because when you struggle with getting into a state of being and generating feelings, that struggle is because deep down we don't believe it. And when we get into talking about transgenerational and overlays, meaning ancestral, they call them ancestral curses. They're not curses. They feel like them, but they are energy patterns and overlays that we carry with us. So it's much more difficult when you're not being honest with yourself. But it is what will create the real results. And that's why in these lessons, I go more slowly, because you can create really rapid results just by listening to Neville Goddard, for example. There are some rapid results that are actually had by many people right away. But when we're talking about the bigger ones, the things that you burn for, the things that you know that you want, not that you think you want, not that you sit on the couch watching TV saying, yeah, I'd like that, but what you really want, you go after it. So this meditation may take a little bit of time to be applied correctly or intensely, but remember, it's like training a muscle. The more you do it, the better you're going to get at it. So I'm going to call this meditation the Feeling Fulfilled meditation. And it's going to be centered on how you feel about your life inside. And the goal is to control your fluctuations of feeling. So instead of wild swings back and forth like a pendulum, and trust me, we've all been there, you are using your awareness to regulate your emotion after you watch yourself, your emotions. So before you actually do this meditation, I want you to think about, what is fulfillment? What does that look like? What does that sound like? What does that taste like? What does it act like for you? Use your senses to help define and create. When was the last time that you felt absolutely fulfilled? I don't care if you were 3 years old eating an ice cream cone at the circus. When did you feel fulfilled? Do not reject feelings of fulfillment if they are related to food. It is not the relation to food that we're focusing on. We're focusing on what it felt inside, within your soul, to be fulfilled. What did it feel like when your grandmother wrapped her arms around you and pulled you close to her heart, or your mother or your father? Or when you won an award at school, or when you did something good, or maybe you achieved something great within yourself that you worked for, or just even generating feelings of something, and somebody came and gave you that gift by validating what you were generating. So this is generally speaking, the more you allow yourself to be yourself, the more you trust what you are, and the more you live from passion, desire, and freedom. And then that's how fulfilled and fulfillment in your life will be reflected. So I'm going to say that again. The more you trust what you are and the more you live from passion, from freedom, from desire, the more you're fulfilled. So you are allowing yourself, you are receiving. Nobody is going to generate a state of being fulfilled or complete by a negative self-talk. You're not going to create it by denying who you are. You're not going to create it by insulting yourself or believing that you're not enough or you're nothing or no, that's not going to happen. The purpose of the meditation is to think and focus on the moments that you felt like you were honoring yourself, trusting yourself, expressing yourself from a state of joy, from fearlessness, from confidence, from courage, from passion, freedom, etc., all of it. This is the meaning of being fulfilled. Did you trust yourself? That feels so good, to trust yourself, to honor yourself, to set boundaries, to express yourself with people where you're happy and you're joyful, to be confident and courageous, and to be full of passion and know that you're free to choose what it is that you would like to choose. It's all about self-expression and self-expansion. And the goal is to focus on that and its meaning and its impact for you. And the more you do this, the more you'll see ways and find the means to represent and live in that state. The more you do, the more is reflected back and comes to you. So the goal is not to imagine getting or want or waiting for things to manifest so that you can feel happy or complete. And many people are waiting for their ex to come back or waiting to get something. But I repeat, the purpose here is to broadcast energetically in your energy frequency and vibration, a positive feeling of being fulfilled and complete. And if you think that another person being in your life completes you, you're wrong. You have to generate that feeling first. You have to generate the feeling of having that job first. You generate the feeling of being incredibly wealthy first, incredibly healthy first. A positive feeling, that's where we get. So practice broadcasting. I'll tell you what really works is practice broadcasting love to other people. So watch how that shifts all the energy and it changes. And I will give you that in this meditation. So when you're ready, I'm going to start the meditation now. And if you want, you can pause here. You can even skip it over. I don't care. But here's how we're going to start this meditation. You're going to get into, first, I want you to be alone. And I want you to be comfortable. So your clothes have to be comfortable. Not other people are watching you. I don't care. None of that. Alone. And I want you in a comfortable position. And I don't care if your eyes are opened or closed, but I want you sitting. I do not want you to move. I want you to plant your butt on the ground, and I want you to stick it there until you're done. I don't want you to, you're going to squirm, but I do not want you to get up. And I want you to just sit for a second alone and feel your heartbeat. And now ask yourself, what does being fulfilled and complete mean to me? What kind of impact would that state of being have on my life? And watch all of the pictures come up. The feeling, the ideas, the affiliation. Even feel it all of it. And just watch it. Now go back in your memory and pull up a time that you felt truly fulfilled, even if it was just for a moment. And then I want you to create that as a little tiny light. And I want you to breathe in that light right into your chest, your heart center. Breathe in with a full breath and hold it for 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. And as you exhale, I want that light to explode through your whole body, every cell. It turns into little baby sparkles and it's released into you. Let it penetrate every cell of your body. Now, I want you to do that 5 times. Now, know that feeling fulfilled is and complete is all about your self-expression and self-expansion. And that's why we took that light into our heart and we expanded it into every bit of our being. And I want you to practice that over and over again. And when you go out into the world, when you step out of your house or out of your car or out of your office door, or wherever you are, pull that light back into your chest, hold it there. Little golden baby light. And breathe in, hold it for 3. And then exhale and let it expand through all of you. And then see it explode into a bubble of white light around you in a 3-foot radius. And I want you to watch how you light up and you smile, and other people will light up and smile. And you can even infuse this with a word, one word, that you heal everyone around you. So healing or love or peace. And watch and hear people greet you, and they will, and exchange some really pleasant words. You don't have to wait or need something to happen. You're creating it right now. This is the simplest practice because it shows you that you have the creative power by using your mind and your feeling and your breath. And by releasing that, and you can affect everything outside of you. See, you're the creator. And this is found in each moment of every day. Feel fulfilled and hold that light because that is what you are. Light creates what is seen. Darkness is the place that you can create in a dark space. I don't mean dark as a negative, but out of darkness came the light. And when the light shines, it's what we see. Because in darkness, we don't see anything unless we turn on a light. So this lesson is to cultivate the light more and more by being more of your true self. And how can you express life more fully for yourself, so that you can be of service to others? Because when you're of service to others, they reflect it back to you. And then they're of service to you. You're of service to yourself. So you're training your own self every moment by being your full, complete everything. You need for nothing. You wait for nothing, because just being you is realizing that is all there is that creates that in your consciousness. So without your consciousness, there is no experience. Everything else is an effect of your consciousness. And this is what it means to consciously create and plant the seed. Nothing is lacking ever. So if you are looking for, I need my ex back, my ex isn't speaking to me, you have to be willing to face yourself first. Nothing is ever lacking. You're probably standing in your own way with your ego and your beliefs of they did this to me, and so therefore I'm not going to do these things. And that's what the universe is going to give you. You're going to have to forgive yourself, and you're going to have to forgive them, and you're going to have to figure out if that's a relationship that you want. If they cheated on you, is that what you want? I don't know. It's too much to go into right now. But from that state of completeness, from that state of forgiveness, from that state of love and openness, you allow them to come back and have an honest conversation with you if you're honest with yourself. I didn't say you should allow people to shit all over you, because I don't think that you should. What I do think is that you should work on that. Why do you let people shit all over you? Is that how you were treated when you were a kid? And if so, you've got to dive back into that and say, no more. And you've got to be treated like a king or a queen. And this is how A state of completeness creates more abundance. And so you manifest more love, more self-respect, more self-honesty. Fill yourself to the brim. Be full of love. Be full of forgiveness, but absolute self-respect. And that light and happiness, you'll start to say, you know what, I couldn't be any happier. And you've probably heard people say that before, and you think, wow, really? Okay, why? Because they felt so good in that moment. So you want to feel so good about yourself that you overflow with goodness. You know that when you finally let go, when you finally look at yourself, when you finally see how you screwed up relationships and you stop blaming the other person and they stop blaming you, and they stop blaming you because you stop blaming them, you take responsibility. So in this lesson, this isn't about vain repetition. This isn't about faking it and thinking that it's going to come, even though you're not going to let go of your side of the street. It's a little bit more challenging because it asks you to think for yourself and to be honest with yourself, to push your boundaries, to understand. It asks you to change yourself, because when you change, everything changes. And when you see success, even just a little bit, you're going to be a lot happier. And it proves to you you're the creator. So you'll do it more and more. And then you will and then what does life do? It presents more and more to you the experiences and the circumstances that you want. The more powerfully focused you are, the faster the desirable experiences result. The more worthy you feel, the more you value yourself, the more experiences that you have. So you need to decide and you need to choose. You need to be complete now. You need to be honest with yourself now, because life is right now. It is complete and accomplished now. And if you fall off or you get knocked down, get back up. Do the breath work, pull the light back in. Forgive yourself, acknowledge what you did, agree that you won't do it again, and try your best. This is one of the most important attitudes when it comes to being happy and having an accomplished life. Never allow anybody to dim your light, not even yourself. Anyway, thank you for listening, and I look forward to you joining us for lesson 6.